"Hand over your guns or we'll call the cops." That's what she barked at me right there in front of my own house, her finger stabbing toward my garage like she owned the place. That was the moment I realized just how far Linda Parker, our HOA president, was willing to go. It wasn't about rules anymore. It was about power, her power over me, over anyone she thought she could bully into submission. My name's Michael Harris, and I moved to Willow Creek 2 years ago. I wanted peace, a quiet place for my family, a neighborhood that seemed orderly and safe. That's what the glossy brochures promised anyway: community pool-trimmed lawns, rules to keep everything perfect. But perfection has a price, and in this place the price was bending to Linda's will. It started small, almost laughable. One night I parked my truck a little crooked, barely a few inches off the line. The next morning I found a violation notice slapped on my windshield, bold letters threatening fines. I shrugged it off. But then came another. Grass half an inch too tall. Trash can left at the curb 10 minutes past pickup. Every little thing turned into a strike against me. I tried talking to Linda directly. I said, "Look, I'll fix it. I'll be more careful." She stared at me with this smug little smile and said, "Rules are rules. If I let you slide, the whole community falls apart." That's when I saw it, the glint in her eyes. She wasn't protecting the neighborhood, she was enjoying the control. Weeks went by, and the letters piled up. Then the HOA summoned me to a hearing. Picture it, a long table, Linda at the head, like some queen on her throne, her allies sitting stiff-backed with clipboards. They rattled off my supposed offenses one after another, while I sat there barely allowed to speak. When I finally did, my words got cut off. I walked out with my ears burning, humiliation pounding in my chest. For the first time I thought maybe they were right. Maybe I was the problem. That night I sat in my garage, staring at the stack of warnings, wondering if I should just sell the house and get out. My family deserved peace, not this constant harassment. And for a moment, I'll admit it, I thought about surrendering, packing up, letting Linda win. The weight of it made me feel small, like I'd already lost. But then came Sarah Miller. She knocked on my door one evening, nervous but determined. She lived 2 streets over, a young attorney just starting out. She whispered, "Michael, you're not crazy. Linda's been targeting people for months. I've seen the emails." She slid a folder into my hands, screenshots of Linda instructing board members to single out certain residents, especially the ones who kept to themselves. "Make examples of them," the emails read. My blood boiled. Suddenly it wasn't about a crooked truck or tall grass. It was about abuse of power. Sarah urged me to fight, told me I had the right to push back, even to escalate beyond the HOA if I had proof. For the first time in weeks, I felt something other than defeat. I felt anger with a purpose. So I started gathering evidence. I documented every bogus violation, every time Linda or her cronies stepped onto my property uninvited. I took photos, collected neighbor testimonies. And when the next board meeting rolled around, I walked in not as a defeated resident, but as a man ready to call their bluff. Linda opened the session the same way she always did, loud voice self-importance dripping from every word. She held up my file like it was Exhibit A in some courtroom drama. "Mr. Harris has repeatedly disregarded community standards," she announced. Her allies nodded in rhythm like puppets waiting for their cue. But before she could go further, I pulled out my folder and said, "Actually, before you finish, let's talk about this." I handed copies of the leaked emails down the table. The room went still. Board members glanced at the papers, their faces shifting from confusion to shock. One of them muttered, "Is this real?" Linda's face drained of color. She stammered, "That's private correspondence, taken out of context." But the damage was done. The words were there in black and white, her own orders to target people, to fabricate reasons for fines, to squeeze homeowners until they either complied or cracked. I locked eyes with her and said, "You're not protecting this neighborhood. You're running it like your personal kingdom. And tonight it ends." The room erupted. Some neighbors gasped. Others whispered furiously. One even stood up and said, "I've been fined for the same nonsense." The dominoes started falling fast. Board members who had blindly followed Linda began backing away, not wanting to go down with her. Linda tried to regain control. She slammed her hand on the table and shouted, "This meeting is out of order. Security will remove you." But there was no security, just me standing tall, backed by truth and evidence. I stepped closer, my voice steady. "You've harassed me, humiliated me, and tried to break me. But you overplayed your hand. And now everyone sees it." Her mask cracked. The woman who strutted through our streets like she was untouchable now looked cornered, desperate. One board member leaned toward her and whispered, "You need to resign." And just like that, the queen lost her throne. Linda was stripped of her position, her authority crumbling in front of the very people she thought she ruled. I didn't cheer. I didn't smile. I just watched her gather her papers with trembling hands and storm out of the room, her reign of intimidation collapsing behind her. That was the night I learned something important. Bullies thrive on silence. But the moment you stand up and shine a light on their lies, they fall apart.